Hey guys, welcome to the Natural Alpha podcast, where we talk about natural but powerful biofundamentals and hacks to increase your performance in training, sex, and behavior. And remember to subscribe, like, and share if you do in fact find this podcast or YouTube video helpful. All right, guys, thanks a lot. Let's get back to the show.
What's the thought of the day? Thought of the day: the road to hell is paved with good intentions. We'll talk more about that later. Okay, so cutting to the chase, because I don't like long broadcasts, as you know. What I'm talking about is Acetyl L Carnitine. So you may have, if you research carnitine or L-carnitine, you're going to see a lot of stuff on how that benefits fat burning, or they use it as a fat burner or mitochondrial support, because L-carnitine helps fatty acids get into the cell to be used by the mitochondria for energy. So a lot of fat burning supplements use L-carnitine, but that's not really what strength athletes are after. If you talk to any strength coach, the main thing they'll talk about in terms of energy systems or just support is the central nervous system. So what acetyl L-carnitine does is it takes L-carnitine and it attaches an acetyl group to the carnitine, which allows the carnitine to cross the blood-brain barrier. So now you have acetyl L-carnitine that crosses the blood-brain barrier. Now, if you look up acetyl L-carnitine, what you're going to find is a lot of information about how it's good for your brain and cognitive function, and how they're using it in diseases like dementia, etc. And although that's not what we're using it for, the two are related because we're both supporting the brain, both in cognitive health and in pure strength sports. And here's how we do that. Now, once it's there, it does two very important things. So number one, it supports the central nervous system, which I'll talk more about in a bit. And number two, it's a precursor to another neurotransmitter called acetylcholine. Okay, so central nervous system support. So again, once it's there, it helps to increase something called NGF, or nerve growth factor. Nerve growth factor, obviously, one of the things that it does is it helps. All right, if you're still watching or listening, then you must be enjoying the content. So please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It's really going to help me help other guys just like you with my content and grow my channel. All right, guys, let's get back to the show. Actually, nerves grow. And on top of this, it helps receptors in the hippocampus respond better to nerve growth factor. Okay, now moving down the spine, if you know what the spinal cord looks like, it has all these, they're called axons. These are like, if you look at a spinal cord, it looks like one thick yellow piece of nerve, but they're actually tiny like hairs. And each one of those is called an axon, and each axon is covered in something called a myelin sheath. And it's this myelin sheath of which nerve impulses jump across, because each myelin sheath has like a little section. And the nerve impulse that's generated in your brain to go to your muscle crosses across this myelin sheath. And once it gets to the muscle, depending on how strong that nerve impulse still is, since it's generated from here and goes down, the stronger the muscle contraction you'll have. So in fact, diseases like multiple sclerosis is a degeneration of the myelin sheath, and this is why people can have atrophy and lose function of their muscle with multiple sclerosis, right? So acetyl L-carnitine helps to support the myelin sheath and generate the myelin sheath and keep it healthy. Okay, so without a healthy myelin sheath, the speed and integrity of your nerve impulses from your brain to your muscles deteriorates. So super important to have a healthy myelin sheath, not only just for function, but especially in weightlifting. Okay, another good thing that acetyl L-carnitine does is it protects the DNA and RNA of the cells which determine mitochondrial function specifically. And if we talk about the mitochondria, that is the energy center that produces your ATP, which is the primary energy source for muscle contraction in all muscle contraction, but in the rep ranges of 1 to 5 repetitions when you're going heavy, you use pure ATP, and then it's regenerated to a degree with creatine or creatine phosphate. So in short, with the nervous system support, acetyl L-carnitine, and it's also called ALCAR for short. So if you ever see ALCAR, it means acetyl L-carnitine. It ensures that the messages that are sent from your brain to your body get there with ideal speed and integrity, right? So again, sometimes it's not the strength of the muscle. A lot of people think their muscles are strong. You've often heard of the grandmother who's lifted a car up because their grandson or granddaughter is trapped underneath. The muscles can be that strong. It's the strength and integrity of the nerve impulse getting to those muscles that actually makes a lift happen. All right, so super important for the nervous system. That's why strength coaches are all about supporting the central nervous system. Okay, and lastly, it is a precursor to something called acetylcholine, which I mentioned before. And acetylcholine is the neurotransmitter that once that nerve impulse gets to the end of the nerve, it hits something called the neuromuscular junction. So once the nerve impulse gets to the end of the nerve, there's a whole bunch of things that happen, but in a sense what happens is it stimulates these little neurotransmitters to jump the gap between the nerve and the muscle, and these bits of acetylcholine, they flood the sarcolemma of the muscle and other things, and that's what actually causes the actin and myosin to cause a contraction. So the more acetylcholine you have, the better the contraction of the muscle is too. So two things, and again, there's a lot of physiology behind this, and I'm really summing this up, but to get a good, strong muscle contraction, you need a speedy or a fast nerve impulse. It needs to be strong with integrity. And then once it gets to the muscle, there needs to be acetylcholine there to flood the sarcolemma of the muscle to cause the actin and myosin to cause that contraction. And acetyl L-carnitine supports all of those things. So that's why we use this in lifting fuel. In fact, it's our main ingredient in lifting fuel because it supports the central nervous system. And that's what we're concerned about the most in powerlifting and other strength sports. Okay. So the phrase of the day, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Well, what does that mean? I think it's pretty self-explanatory, and I've never really thought about things like that until these last 2 years. Another way of putting it, I guess, is that things like tyranny often come gift-wrapped in safety, and it will always be done like that. I think from now on, I don't think there's really any, if you're going to have your rights and freedoms taken away from you, it's not going to be an invasion from a foreign country. Back in the old days, World War I, World War II, it was the good, the bad, and, you're fighting for your freedoms. It seems like domestic threats are more of a thing, or maybe just domestic ideas, because I won't say that it's intentional, but actions speak louder than words. So as a society, as a free and democratic society, I think it's all of our jobs to be aware of the actions of our leaders and see where these actions are leading us. And just by paying attention, it leads us to a place where we're not so free and not so much in a democratic society. And it looks like it's being done in our own best interest, apparently. And I can't go for that. Can you? And if you are a strength athlete that's listening to this, I want you to think about, what are you strong for? Why are you strong? Just so you can get likes on social media and stuff like that? What do you stand for? Because a lot of us had to resist in order to, keep places like this open. And it just makes me think, and that saying that the road to hell is paved with good intentions is it's pretty fitting for these times. But let me know what you think, and what does your strength stand for? Like, why do you want to be strong? Because tell you, for me, strength is a natural, like physical strength is a natural state of being, in my opinion, for a human being. I mean, there's other natural states, but it's for me, it's a heightened state of physicality, and I believe it's everyone's right to pursue their physical strength, or any sort of physical endeavor. It doesn't have to be strength; it could be endurance, but any sort of physical fitness. But you need rights and freedoms to do that. We just saw it. It was taken away from us the last 2 years when they closed gyms. Unbelievable. Sort of go like, what does your strength stand for? You understand what I mean? Maybe I'm not putting it so well. It's really hard to articulate. But for me, physical strength carries over into the integrity of your values as well. You got the strength, like physical strength is like the integrity of your muscles and joints, and the ability to resist stress in the form of a barbell and resist gravity. Does that carry over for you, or do you separate that? And I'm not going to say it's right or wrong. I'm just saying, for me, the two are connected. The strength of your physical body, for me, I'll just say my physical body carries over into my personality and into my values. I'll talk about an energy crisis. I know I talked about that in my last one, but essentially an energy crisis. And then what's going on is you get a person into an energy crisis, and this is through pollution in the air, pollution in the food, water, whatever. Their energy goes down. Now, how is that affecting what's going on? Well, you don't feel like fighting back when you've got really no energy. You just sort of, I'll just go with the flow. I'll just do it because I'm just so damn tired. And to be honest, rights and freedom's great. My right and freedom to do what, though? All I want to do is sit at home and watch Netflix and eat nachos. So, like, what do I care? Right? So I don't think it's any surprise that the gym community, the health and fitness community, the strength community are some of the people that at least should be resisting any future bullshit like the stuff that we saw in the last 2 years. But let me know what your thoughts are, and let me know if you've been awakened these last couple of years, because I never thought about this stuff, and I took my freedom for granted. I'll admit it. I think a lot of us did, and I sure don't anymore. And I wasn't political at all. Like, it didn't really matter. Like, I just wanted to live my life, and I didn't really think that it mattered. But it sure bloody well does. Did you also get a little more political these last couple of years? Let me know. Leave comments. Acetyl L Carnitine. Remember to take that. And if you need some lifting fuel or you want to try it out, you can click the link below to the online store. Thanks a lot for watching and listening. Stay strong.
Hey guys, thanks again for watching or listening, and go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. And go ahead and share the video. Share it with a friend if you think that they will find the content useful. Again, like the video and leave a comment and let me know what you think. And also leave a comment and let me know what you want to hear about, because I want to talk about what you guys want to hear about. All right, guys, till next time, stay strong.